It's Friday, and that means it's time for another episode of our Diaries, which is all about what we get up to week in, week out here at BikeRadar.
There's a link in the video description to all the past episodes, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of the Diaries series.
This week we headed out for a pretty tough
and hilly
long ride, which was designed to help us prep for the Festive 500, which starts soon on Christmas Eve.
If you don't know what the Festive 500 is, well, it's a challenge to ride 500 kilometres between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. It's designed to burn off those calories. It's a pretty tough challenge, but it should get you in good shape for the new year.
So on this ride, we basically wanted to all but empty the tank, so it gives us some good training stimulus, and hopefully we'll go into good shape when we try and hit that 500 kilometre challenge.
It's not all about road riding this week. We will be taking a look at Joe's new long-termer. It's a Scott Scale RC World Cup 29er.
And let us know in the comments what you think to Reuben's jumper.
What's the aim of today then?
The aim of today is basically get the hours in, spend a good amount of time on the saddle and hit quite a few hills. So we're going to start right here with Dundry.
And how many hills do you think we'll do? About, I'm hoping for about 6 hills all around.
I was going to say 6.
Right, we'll get to the bottom, so better crack on. That's Dundry done. It was pushing on a bit, so it's nice brisk warm up. How'd you find it?
Yeah, we always go up a bit hard on the first one, don't we? Dundry's about 7 minutes this time of year. Yeah, we're aiming for zone 4, which is around 330 watts, 340 watts, depending on how fit we are. Only 6 or 7 more left to go. So we're getting on for an hour in.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a flat bit between the first climb and the second climb, so what kind of power do we aim for, and what zone are we aiming for on the flatter, easier bits?
So on the easier sections we're looking at, I don't know, 200 to 250, so you want to keep...
And for us that's zone 2, isn't it?
Around zone 2, yeah,
around zone 2.
Dipping into zone 3, because you want to keep the sort of the blood pumping, but you don't want to obviously go into the red before the next climb, because...
And we're not too kind of regimented about the zones. It's not like if we stray over.
Yeah, so I think we've been riding enough together just to know when sort of we can breathe a bit harder, but not really damage ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we're aiming for before Harptree. Alright, so Harptree's imminent. Joe, talk us through it.
It's a pretty long one, isn't it, on these kind of off-road bikes on road. 10 minutes long I'm going to go for. A couple of steep ramps in it, so Reuben will be hurting on these big gear single speed. Been riding for about an hour and 10 minutes. The normalised power is 272, so it's been fairly tasty so far. My legs are tired already. Yeah. See how this one goes. I'm going to interval it so I know. I'll tell you what power I did later.
Go on then, Joe, you promised everyone your power. What was it?
For 9 minutes and 17 it was 356 watts. You did 358, didn't you?
Yeah.
About the same time.
I was probably 6 or 7 seconds back.
Went too hard, like you had to push really hard, didn't you, on that on the steep bit?
Yeah. And I think that's same again, steep bit, single speed, you push a little bit too hard, but you sort of have to. Because I think towards the top there I was recovering at like 50 RPM and about 360 watts, and then had a little kick over the last little rise and chased Joe a little bit, so that was good.
So a quick change of plans.
Yeah.
We've wussed out of Blagden and we're going to do an equally nasty East Harptree, because that's a bit closer, and I think we're getting a bit hungry, aren't we? And we want eggs on toast.
Yeah, we're getting very hungry, but it's not that I couldn't do Blagden. It's just we.
Oh yeah. Excuses.
It's just we've got 4 climbs after that to do, so I want to pace myself a little bit. But East Harptree is still very difficult.
Okay. So what's the power for that one? I did I did 366 for 5 minutes. Starting to get a bit more tired.
366. I forgot to interval it, so we'll have to wait for the end.
You forgot?
Yeah.
It's cheating. Benedict.
I'm going to go with low.
Benedict's going to go with low because being a bit of an old school legend, Benedict's riding without a GPS. He's got no power, no GPS.
Riding by feel, you know, pulse.
He just needs to feel the wind in his hair.
Having done 3 climbs though, there's only one thing that now means, and that's Cheddar Gorge to go to a cafe stop.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty hungry.
I had this last time. It's a veggie breakfast and it's very good.
So, are you happy with your elite nutrition?
I'm very happy, but I feel rude because you don't have yours yet.
No food for me yet. It's quite a lot. All fed and watered then?
All fed.
So now we've got Shipham Hill, another hill, and then another hill. So we've got three hills left. We're all quite enthusiastic about it now. The legs have gone to sleep.
My legs are feeling totally ready.
And Benedict's a bit tired. I am too. Yeah, better get going.
Without Shipham, it felt pretty good being able to give Joe a hard time, especially at the end there. It's digging pretty hard. I think I saw about 480 on that last stretch just as I came by him, so hopefully you'll see him hurting pretty good.
So that's Shipham done?
Yeah.
You were pressing on pretty hard. I got 387 watts for
That's good.
6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And now we've got Rington, which is super steep. I can't quite remember it, but apparently it's steep.
It's about 11%, average is 11%, about a third of a mile.
So this is Rington Hill. Better go and have a crack. Which one was that? That was Rington.
Rington, yeah.
A bit shorter. I think I did it in 4. The scores on the doors: 408, 385 watts. So
Yeah.
Same that we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that might have been one hill too many. I mean, it was good to do it because you never regret doing it, but power was low. As you can see, we're back at Parsons. Between last episode and this one, they still haven't sponsored us. Negotiations are ongoing. But I think we're pretty glad to be back. It's a tough ride. Joe?
Good now. I've had a bit of food down me. Yeah, enjoyed that. 6 climbs. Pressed on throughout all of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was it 6?
6, yeah. Haven't had a good time. We'll upload it later, won't we? And we'll show you guys the numbers in a bit. So we're back now, as you can see. Pretty cold, so I'm glad to be home. But let's have a look at the scores on the doors, see how hard that ride was, see what Reuben and I did. I rode for 3 hours and 40 minutes, a normalised power of 272 watts, and I weigh about 64 kilos and an average of 210. We definitely went a lot harder, I think, than we thought. Reuben definitely dished it out to me in a few places. My zone 6, which is anything over 387 watts on Training Peaks, I spent 13 minutes in zone 6. Quite a lot, I think. In fact, yeah, I feel it. And then zone 5, which is kind of, I think, VO2 max. So that for me is anything from 340 to 386 watts. I was 23 minutes in zone 5. And then in my threshold, my kind of zone 4, half an hour in that. So yeah, nearly over an hour in all the kind of upper zones. So it was a tough ride. Quite pleased about that. I wasn't very pleased when Reuben really dished it out on Shipham after we had our lunch break in Cheddar. You went pretty fast up there. You did about 400 watts, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about 402 for 6 minutes. Given that a few weeks ago did 400 watts for 5 minutes, you know, shows the initial training's going well.
Yeah, so we did a Diaries episode a few weeks ago where Reuben did a 5-minute test, full gas effort, and that's just in an hour ride before work, isn't it? And you did 400, yeah, and you've already been able to add a minute onto that as part of a kind of big long ride. So hopefully we're already feeling a few benefits of the training we've been doing. Yeah, and now we've got a kind of a bit of time to rest up. I'm away on a shoot and stuff like that. Reuben, you're going to rest up as well. We're both quite busy before starting the Festive 500 on Christmas Eve. If we'll make it, who knows, but I think we're going to give it a good crack, aren't we?
All right, Joe, that's your Scott scale. I know you're very excited to ride it. Can you tell everyone why you're so excited?
Well, before I tell you why I'm so excited, just a few bits of housekeeping. I forgot to bring my trainers in today, so I'm still wearing my ride shoes, my S-Fires. I don't know if you can see those. Also, it's freezing in here, so I'm going to keep this. This is Reuben's jacket I'm wearing. I'm going to keep Reuben's jacket on, so if the sounds a bit kind of, apologies. But onto the bike. I'm very excited to ride this Scott scale because I've got a kind of history with Scott bikes. The first proper race mountain bike I had, which was way back in 2012, was a Scott scale, and since then I've always wanted to ride the new version of the Scott scale, which is this one here. The stars have never quite aligned until this year, and now I've got this one. This is a Scott scale 900 RC World Cup. This is my long-term bike, and yeah, very excited to see how it rides.
So that scale is not the absolute top frame, is that correct?
No, yeah, so there is a scale SL which retails for like, I think it's 8 or 9 grand. This one is just over £5,000, and this has the HMX carbon fibre. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that the Scott pro riders, people like Nino Schurter, don't ride the SL version of the scale frame. They actually ride this version because the carbon is just a little bit stronger, and I think the weight penalty is like 50 grams or something like that. So if you're a pro, you know, if you want to finish first you've got to finish. So I think most of the pros actually ride the HMX version of the frame, not the full spec, super light and probably not quite as strong SL version. We've got a SRAM XX1 Eagle group set, RockShox SID RL3 air fork. That's also got the Scott ride lock remote. That's quite interesting because it's attached to the lock-on grip. It's an underbar cable remote, which I really like. I've used a few of the RockShox hydraulic remotes in the past. I don't know if anyone else has had this experience with them. I know Reuben has.
Yeah.
And they can be temperamental at best. They're a bit kind of fiddly. So a cable remote is really good to see. This one has 3 stages. So you've got fully locked out, which it is now. That's like rock solid. And you've got 1 click for trail, which is a bit more forgiving, and then 1 click more, and that is fully open. Pretty nice. I've used it so far. I really like it. SRAM level TLM brakes, not quite the top spec, but again, really nice, plenty of power. Syncross seat post and saddle, nothing much to say about those. Carbon seat post, nice comfy saddle. Then DT Swiss wheels and Maxxis Recon race tyres in 2.25. But I guess one of the most interesting things on this bike is the Syncross Fraser IC SL one-piece handlebars. So as you can see, it's basically a one-piece bar and stem combo with a kind of nice sweep to the bars. They're 720mm wide, so they're not the widest, but they feel incredibly stiff. There's a neat little Garmin mount you can put on the top so you can still put your Garmin on. I'm not 100% convinced by the fact that you can't kind of adjust the length of your stem, or if you do want to adjust the length of your stem, you're going to have to buy a whole new bar and stem combo, or kind of get rid of it and get some new handlebars and stuff like that. But yeah, interesting to ride. I've never ridden a one-piece cockpit before, so it's quite good fun, and so far, yeah, no issues with them.
I guess there's a bit of a trend at the moment to make XC bikes a bit more rad. Where does the scale sit in that?
Yeah, it's definitely on the kind of radder end of the spectrum. A few bikes have been released this year are a bit kind of longer and slacker and stuff like that, but yeah, you've got a 69.5 degree head angle, which is fairly slack. You can get slacker now, but it is a hardcore race bike. Nino Schurter rides it, so you know, if it's good enough for him, the geometry is probably good enough for me. The reach, this is a size large. The reach is 443.2. 0.2 is weird, but fair enough, 0.2 mil reach. It's slightly cramped for me because I've got huge, long gangly arms and quite short legs, so I'm probably gonna get a longer stem bar combo on it or change the bar and stem at some point. But yeah, that reach is fairly decent. Maybe could go a bit longer. One thing that is quite extreme on this bike is the chainstays, again in the size large, are 425mm.
Yes, so for reference, road bikes is about 420. So it's very, very similar.
Yeah, and you know, you can still find XC bikes with like 438mm long chainstays. Whether or not you want that, that's kind of up to you. Some people prefer to be kind of sat more in the middle of the bike, but yeah, it feels nice and flicking. You can feel like you get the front wheel up nice and easy for stuff like that. For all those manuals, you're doing XC races, you know, I just manual everywhere now because I've got such short chainstays. And the final bit of kind of headline geometry is the seat angle. Again, the trend is for seat angles to get steeper and steeper and steeper, so you sort of pitch more over the front for climbing, and this is 73.6. You can get a lot steeper than that, but that's still fairly steep. You know, some seat angles of old were kind of 72, 71, so it's good enough for me. And obviously being a hardtail, it is nice and light. This one, without pedals, weighs about 9.3 kilos in a size large. For a 5 grand bike, very expensive, but that is pretty light. You can go a bit lighter, some bikes come in just under 9, but hopefully I'm going to be able to make this quite a bit lighter. I've got some very tasty upgrades coming from Germany. They've arrived in the office already, so you'll be seeing those on the bike soon. And yeah, I'm hoping, in theory, that I'll be able to get it under 9 kilos at some point during the summer when I do some really steep, long Euro marathon climbs.
So you haven't ridden it much yet, but I know you've got some early season targets, so what specifically will this bike be racing?
This year, my first race is in Lanzarote at the end of January. That's a 4-day stage race. It's got a mountain time trial on it. It's a lot of kind of fire roady stuff, so it's not too technical, but yeah, that's going to be definitely going to be testing my climbing legs, so I need to get training soon. As you know, me and Reuben have been doing a lot of training already, and then hopefully in kind of April, May, June time, I'd like to do another few big UCI World Marathon Series, probably along with some gravel races. Me and Reuben just talk about it a lot, what bike we think's best for gravel racing. We both enjoy the kind of gravel enduro format like Duke's Weekender and Grinduro. So yeah, I'll probably do a lot of gravel riding on it as well, but it definitely feels kind of fast enough for doing, you know, even road riding, gravel riding, and all the more technical mountain biking I'll be doing as well, because some of those Euro marathons in the summer have really testing descent. So the other thing I might be putting on it is a dropper post in the future. But for the time being, for Lanzarote, because it's not too technical and I want to make the bike as light as possible, I'm going to be running a fixed post. And hopefully I'll be doing a more thorough review of it when I've done lots of off-road riding in the coming months, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to running it.
So that's it, that's the last episode before Christmas. The ride definitely took it out of us. We're quite glad to get home and rest up, but it should stand us in good stead for the next few weeks.
Whether or not we actually make the Festive 500, we do the full 500k, who knows, but we'll be giving it a really good crack, and you'll find out how we get on in the new year.
As always, if you have any questions or thoughts, do let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.